Amigos de Ranchos de Hoy, como siempre, tratando de llevarles información que les sirva a ustedes para sus procesos, para hacer una mejor producción. Vamos a tener a continuación tres especialistas en silos que han venido a dar unas conferencias aquí a México. Uno de ellos es el doctor Kong, que viene de la Universidad de Delaware. El otro es el doctor Eb Thomas, que viene de la Universidad de Cornell University. Y finalmente vamos a tener una serie de preguntas también para el doctor Renato Schmitz, que él viene de la compañía L.buchneri. L.buchneri es una compañía que es especialista en productos para hacer un mejor ensilaje. Vamos a dar una buena explicación de esto y vamos a tratar de traducirlo adecuadamente. Gracias.
Hello, Dr. Kung. What are some of the things things you're currently working on in research at the University of Delaware for silage?
One of the things that we're looking at is trying to determine the role of spoilage yeasts in silages. Many silages spoil when they're exposed to air, and there's a group of detrimental organisms that are called yeasts, and these yeasts are cause spoilage. We're trying to understand who the yeast are, what types of yeast are there, how do they metabolize things. We're trying to understand whether the yeast actually may have a negative effect on the cow. So that's one of the interesting projects that we're working on. We're also working on a project where we're trying to determine what happens when storages are stored for very long periods of time. And some of our preliminary data would suggest that when you keep silages for longer than, say, 3 or 4 months in the silo, that there's actually an improvement in starch digestibility, and that there's some changes in the nitrogen fractions within the silo. So that could lead to some beneficial practices for people if they would be able to increase their silage inventory, increase their digestibility then, and then have better quality forages. We've also been doing a significant amount of work on the inoculant called Lactobacillus buchneri. And the buchneri organism is a very unique organism because it's a lactic acid bacteria that happens to take a little bit of lactic acid that's normally produced in the silo and make a little bit of acetic acid. And acetic acid is a very good antifungal agent, helps to kill the detrimental yeast and molds in silages, and it can improve the shelf life of, for example, corn silage and high moisture corn.
Very good. What are some of the most important things that you think producers can do to guarantee making good silage?
Well, you know, it starts off with harvesting high quality silage from the field, so that's very important. The producer must understand that if they harvest overly mature forage from the field, that's what they're going to have in their silo. They're not going to be able to change it very much. So the key first is to make sure that you harvest high quality, highly digestible forages coming out of the field. And then the second thing would be to manage it in the silo. And when you look at what you can do, the important things include harvesting at the right moisture, the right chop length, packing the silo quickly, packing the silo densely, covering immediately with good plastic. Hopefully there's some oxygen barrier plastics that are available that don't breathe as much air, and those types of plastics